Hey guys, it's Mel from Intimacy TV, where we're all about real conversation with raw education. Or I should say raw conversation with real education. Oh my God, I think we're all lacking sleep. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm sending massive hugs out to my colleague Jane, who hasn't slept in 3 days with her little bub, who's going through some teething. So we were just chatting about this conversation about friend zoning. And she gave me a golden nugget, which I'll be bringing up in a second. Now, the reason why I'm doing friend zoning is because I've actually had about 5 or 6 conversations in the last week on this topic. And it was coming from, both girls and guys, but more specifically guys that were going, what the fuck with the friend zone? And they're trying to work out, why have I gotten in there? How did that happen? So, okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is, how do you know when you've been friend zoned, specifically from a woman? So here's some words that are going to come up, and it'll be either in conversation, email, text, whatever way that they're talking to you. This is the ultimate way that you know you're friend zone. The second that she calls you things like mate or buddy, and those sort of terms, you are friend zoned. When they call you babe, you're not necessarily friend zoned, unless you've got a conversation that's always, or a relationship with someone where you've always just, naturally called each other babe. But generally speaking, if they're not calling you, babe, honey, sweetie, stuff like that, you're okay. But the second that you hear words like mate and buddy, you're fucking in the doghouse, mate. You're friend zone. Boom. Now, the question is, once you're in the friend zone, can you get out of the friend zone? And when it comes to women, the answer to that is a big fat no. Once you are in, you cannot get out. So one of the most common mistakes that men make is that they think that if they become a friend with a woman, and they create this really good friendship, that the girl's going to look at you in a relationship kind of way. And I can tell you right now, that is a massive, massive mistake that men make. Yes, we want to be friends with our lovers. However, that's not how you become our lover at all. We want more than just to be able to confide in you. And if we're able to confide in you in absolutely everything before we're intimate with you, we're probably, it's sort of like, someone did the terminology with me the other day, and he was saying, just think of me as your gay friend. And when you say that, that literally is like, the conversations that I can have with you are open about anything and everything, including anything that's sexual. And it's like the safe zone. But that means that you are never, ever, ever going to actually have a relationship with that person that's sexual or intimate. You are literally friend zone. So once you realize that you're sniffing around and you're thinking, I think she hasn't quite got, the buddy and all that yet, but I think she's about to friend zone me, what do I do? Well, we say step it up a notch, take the lead. So here's some ways where even when I'm, connected with somebody, let's just say you're on an online app and you're chatting to someone and they're giving the insinuation that they want to catch up with me. And I'm like, okay. And I say to them, all right, but they're not locking anything in. The idea is if you actually haven't got to that and you're just being Mr. Nice and you want to make things convenient for me, don't do that. All right, you need to lock it in, Eddie. Lock it in. You need to go out there and you need to go, how about we do this on this day? Are you available? Put something out there. Now, let's have a look. What about those couples that start as friends then turn romantic? Well, generally speaking, that's pretty rare if she's calling you mate and buddy that you're going to go from friends into romantic. You may have been friends, but she hasn't been using those languaging on you yet, which means you're not completely what we call friend zone. So when I call friend zone, that means I'm never going to fuck you zone. All right, you're over here. Whereas you can be friends, but once you're friend zone, you're never going to have a romantic. That is the rarest freaking occasion that will happen. So if she's already talking to you in that manner and calling you mates and buddies, you ain't getting into the romantic. That's pretty rare. It's one of the most uncommon things to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm using the word rare. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but it's pretty rare to happen. So what you need to do is you need to step it up a notch. You need to ramp it up and you need to take the lead. I can have multiple people talking to me and insinuating they want to catch up, but they just fluff around and they're never going, like, are you available on this date? And actually going, can you do this date and let's catch up and do this? Or they go, oh, let's catch up. Well, that's fucking nice, but you need to lock me in. So you need to lock it in, take the lead. Now, part of all of that is about the masculine and the feminine energy. So pretty much we all, both men and women, have both. And with the masculine energy, it is the doing energy. It's the get shit done energy. So that's why I'm saying you need to flip into, because the feminine energy is the nurturing. So when you're actually being the nice guy, okay, and you're always being nice, and you're literally, if you try to be the nice guy all the time, a lot of guys do that because they actually fear rejection. They fear rejection of stepping up a notch and taking the lead. Now that's feminine energy. And here's the deal. If you might fear rejection, so that's why you're staying nice, okay, and letting her take the lead. But you know what's going to happen anyway? You're going to lose, okay? Because if you stay playing Mr. Nice Guy and allowing her to have all of the control and taking the lead in what's happening, then you're going to get rejected anyway, because she's going to friend zone you. And friend zone you into the I'm never going to have an intimacy with you ever zone, okay? Or I'm going to get bored with you so quickly you're out. Especially with these online dating apps, okay? Because there's a lot more people out there that are trying to grab your attention. So you need to grab her attention very quickly. So take the lead. And that comment came from our love and relationships coach, Jane, who's a bit sleep deprived at the moment. And literally I was talking to her before and that was her words. When guys are being nice, they do it because they fear rejection and they're going to be rejected anyway. So we want you to flip. So we want to flip from the being nice, nurturing energy, which is feminine energy. We want you to flip it over into masculine energy, which is taking the lead, and just set a date and just ask straight out, this date, are you available on this date? Let's go and do such and such. And I had someone ask me, like we're talking about, they were out hiking, like, oh my God, I love that. I so miss being out in nature. It's like, what are you doing on this date? And I'll organize a hike. And I'm like, done. Whereas the other people just fluffing around, it's like, oh, and what are you doing? Don't ask me what I'm doing. Say, can you catch up? Don't keep allowing me to be in charge, because as a woman, if we're constantly having to be in charge, we're not going to be interested. And this includes in a conversation. So if you know that you're getting together to do something in particular and she's chatting away and blah, 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 don't allow it to keep happening. We want you to take the lead. We want you to actually turn around and go, and you don't have to be rude about it. It's like, hey, let's go do this now. Okay, again, taking the lead, which is in your masculine energy. So one of the other things that came up, someone had put a post out there where he was saying that, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was saying that he was having a lot of problems finding dates, and, like, he's a nice guy, and, like, I don't know what's wrong, like, there just doesn't seem to find the right people. And my response was, you're not going to like what I have to say about that. So here's the question that you need to ask yourself. So if you are going on date after date or not even making it to the date, or say coming across people and not having any luck and it not being the way that you want it, okay, or what your expectations are, what is the common denominator in every single situation? You are the only common denominator. So we hear a lot where women are saying, there's no good guys out there anymore, and rah, 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 like, I'm not connecting with who I want. So the first thing is, stop pointing the fucking finger at everybody else that you're dating, and you need to do a double thumbs at yourself, because guess what? You are the only common denominator in every fucking date that you've ever been on, darlings. Okay? And I said, I'm sorry you're not going to like what I have to say, but that's the reality and that's the fact. So that's step number one. Acknowledge that you're the common denominator. Step number two is we need to understand that everything is a mirror. Okay, so if you're not liking who's in front of you and you're not liking something that they're saying, and we always talk about the mirror as even the trigger. If someone says something to you and there's a trigger and you just get pissed off really quickly, that actually is a mirror. So that means that what you don't like in someone else is actually something you don't like in yourself. Again, that information sucks, and I understand. Again, that's the reality. That's how it works. Things are called the law of attraction. So you are going to attract someone that is very similar to you. So if you're not liking who you're attracting, you're not liking who you are, and you're not being really honest with who you are. So the law of attraction is really, really important. So here's the deal. Most of us, and I talked about it last week, we think we know our values. We think we know who we are. We think we know what we're wanting. However, we really don't. We really haven't invested enough honest time sitting down and working about what are our values and what we're wanting. So for starters, I did an exercise a few years ago where I sent it out there and I said to people, hey, I want you to describe to me in 5 words what you think my values are, right? So 5 words to describe what they believed my values are, what I stood for. And what I did is I collated I asked like 30 odd people, and I collated the information and I looked at the top 5, because this was the goal that I was doing. I had my top 5 of what I believe my values were. And I wanted to see if what I was pushing out there to other people matched. And one of the people said to me, if you had have asked me this like a year ago, I actually would have said that it was this, this, and this. But today, I actually would say it's this, this, and this. And it showed how I'd actually changed. And I was now, because it matched my list, that I was being what we call authentic and congruent. So that means that what I believe my values was what I was pushing out to other people, and they could clearly see it without me needing to explain myself. So do you know what your values are, and are you living as per your values? Okay. Also, when it comes to dating, we have this massive checklist, and I don't believe in a checklist. I believe in a non-negotiables list, or, the list that you're not willing to basically turn around and say, I cannot do this. So, for me, it's always been, I've got 3 things on my list, and literally my brain shuts down. I don't really care who you are. I don't care how nice you are or how taking the lead you are. If you fit into my non-negotiables list, that's it. You will be friend zoned and you will never get intimate with me. So that's the other way that you may be friend zoned is it's nothing personal. It's just that within that person and within their values, these are their non-negotiables when it comes to intimacy and dating, and you just don't fit into that. So you need to make sure that you understand that sometimes that is when it's not anything that you've done. Most of the time it is, but occasionally you're going to come up with somebody that is definitely not fitting your non-negotiables. And for me, one of my biggest non-negotiables is children. So I don't want them, and I don't want to date anyone with them. I've done that. I've been there. I've done that. And that is a very strict non-negotiable. And I've even had conversations recently, literally last week, just saying, I'm sorry, but this is how I feel, and that's not going to change. There's nothing you can say or do that will change because of these reasons, and they respected that. So you need to respect people's non-negotiables and not take it personally. We all fear rejection, okay? So you need to understand that people on both sides of the dating spectrum, the his and her, or her and him, we all fear rejection. But do not fear it to the point where you're literally being too nice, because it ain't going to get you anywhere. We're not saying be an arsehole. No, not at all. But people always wonder, specifically guys, women are attracted to the bad boy. And part of the quality about the bad boy that women find really sexy and really attractive is literally what I'm talking about. It's about taking the lead, okay? And being assertive. Now, you can't change a bad boy. So ladies out there, if you think that you can change a bad boy, you're fucking delusional, because you can't, okay? Bad boys are going to chew you up and spit you out. And women like the excitement that comes with the bad boy. They like the fact that they're assertive, that there's always some excitement involved. And excitement and fun is really important when you're looking at a relationship. So, you know, so the last tip I've got here, and if you guys have any questions, make sure that you're popping on while I'm talking live for this one. And if you disagree with me, put that on there too, because this is what it's all about. The last and most important thing in regards to getting out there and doing the relationships is you must turn up as the version of the person in which you wish to date. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of this. I have a girlfriend who really, to be honest, is just high maintenance. Okay, and we sat there one day and she was talking to me about what she expected. So I expect him to be making this much money and doing the fucking checklist, you know, blah, blah, blah. When he turns up on a date, I expect him to do this, and this. And basically, if he's not going to do that, he's out. High maintenance, aka high maintenance. But my question to her was, and what had happened was, I think she was seeing some guy, she started seeing him, and she had a fallout with her boss at work, and she was really quite upset about it. But she was even more pissed that her partner hadn't intervened. And I'm like, well, this is your boss and your fucking problem. You know, why should he do that? Now, what I said to her was, you're expecting him to bring all these things to the table, but what are you bringing to the table? And her response was, what do you mean? It was like, what do you mean what I mean? If you expect somebody to be this particular person, okay, then you have to be that person first, because it's called the law of attraction. And I've already spoken about the mirror, okay? And these are all part of what comes in to the play game, all right, about winning the dating game. You need to first be the exact version of the person you want to meet. How can you expect somebody else to turn up with all this stuff, but you don't do it yourself? It doesn't make any sense. How do you think you can honestly attract that if you're not doing it yourself? Now, sometimes we think that we're doing this, and this, but let's just be frank. You're fucking bullshitting yourself, all right? Because if you are still going on sucky dates and you still are saying there's no good guys out there or good girls out there, or I just can't seem to meet the right one, this is because you haven't done enough personal development me time. You haven't been honest with yourself, and you really haven't got down to the nuts and bolts about what you really want, and you're just dealing with surface shit, okay? So this is how the whole thing works. And this is why you will get friend zoned or you will have sucky dates, all right? So men, we want you to take the lead. What have you got to lose? If you are being nice because you fear rejection, and you're gonna be rejected anyway, then why are you doing this? Why are you fearing it? Fuck it, you're gonna lose either way. So what is the big deal with take the risk if you've never done it before, and take the lead? It is the sexiest goddamn thing for a woman. I had someone that just they're just fluffing around, and you're just sitting there going, you know, it's like, oh, okay, we'll meet. And I go, okay, where would you like to meet? I'm like, well, I'm happy to come your direction, so how about you just pick a place? And they just couldn't pick a place. They couldn't pick a fucking time. And I was actually getting pissed off, because I'm just like, you know what? You're forcing me to go into my masculine energy right now, and I was in my feminine energy, and I'm generally in my masculine energy, and I need to be pushed the fuck out of it. And the only way that can happen is he has to step up. He's in his masculine, I get forced into my feminine energy. And this is the kind of relationship we want. Most women are running around in this masculine energy, okay, and we're taking charge. And you know what? A lot of men are very, very attracted to confident women, okay, and that's great and all. But let me explain to you what happens when, considering I spent most of my life in masculine energy, when one of you men come into my world and you allow me to take the lead all the time, and you allow me to stay in my masculine energy, that means you're forced into that nurturing feminine energy, the nice energy, or, like the nurturing energy. And what happens is, us women, which is a lot of us out there that haven't, for myself, until lately, really understood how to switch into my feminine energy, we will squish you like a fucking bug. We will chew you up and spit you the fuck out. This is what happens with masculine energy women. So I'm sitting there and I've been in my feminine energy and I'm like, oh my God, don't make me do it. Don't make me go into my masculine energy. Don't make me decide what time and where. I've said I'm available, as I need to just be at this location by this time, and you're on my way. So I've given you it all, but I ended up actually having to do it, and it was a turn-off. And it was a turn-off, because that continues. So you must take the lead or you're going to get friend zoned. And that's actually what happened. And it happened pretty quickly. Didn't matter how nice you were, it's just not going to fulfill the needs that I'm looking for, because, I am wanting someone in their masculine energy and being in my feminine, and I'm going to friend zone you and you got friend zone. Okay, that's how fast it can happen. It can happen really quickly. So, guys, if you're thinking that you're in the friend zone, you're not sure, have a look at her languaging. Is she calling you things like mate and buddy? If she's doing that, you're out. Make sure that if you get a little sniff thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get friend zone again, step the fuck up. All right, step up, take the lead, be proactive. Implement. Ask her out. The only thing she can do is say yes or no. Okay? And you're never going to know if you never ask. Make sure that for those of you that are going out there and dating, remember that you are the common denominator. So if your dates suck, you need to go look in the mirror, because it is a mirror, right? So you need to go look at yourself, look at your values, look at what you're actually pushing out there. Make sure they're congruent. Ask people around you to answer 5 words. Say, I want 5 words to describe what you think my values are. And I use the same for dating. So if you're doing a dating profile and you want to put some words on there, you can do the same thing and say, on this case, it's not your values, it's give me 5 adjectives to describe me, and one of them must be negative. Because your positives are your negative and your negatives can be your positives, all right? So that's a little tip for doing your dating profile. So I'm hoping that helps you out there in regards to understanding the friend zone. Once you're in the friend zone, fellas, you ain't getting out. Okay, no sex. No sex for you. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's not how it works, because we want you to take the lead and show us, your masculinity, and show us you're a man. Not be an asshole, okay, but just to take the lead, to make those decisions and allow us to say yes or no. That's it's simple as that. So if you're just coming in now, make sure you go back to the beginning. There's heaps of tips in there. If you have any further questions, make sure that you pop them in the notes, or you can private message me. We do have Intimacy TV's magazine that has come out this month. We've got heaps of articles in there because right now is the biggest time for breakups and hookups for the entire year, because we're coming up to that romantic day of Valentine's Day. So we've got articles in there about how to survive Valentine's Day when you're single, or how to spice up your relationship, how to parent with your ex, and also a fabulous article in there about the new drug called PrEP, which is a HIV preventative pill, considering Mardi Gras at the end of the month. So make sure that you subscribe to these videos. I'm going to bust my chops to get one out every day. I will put a post up saying what the topic is going to be about each day. I will have Jane with me tomorrow. We're being interviewed by a radio station over in the Philippines, and the two of us will actually be doing a Facebook Live together, and I will post up what the topic's going to be later on today. So enjoy your day, and until next time, bye from me.